So we were an organization with a global presence from a customer perspective for many, many, many years, 30 plus years as a Canadian-based organization. And when I joined and a number of the executive team joined, we were faced with the opportunity to then become, I'd always say, overnight global organization. And so bringing our culture together with not only a new brand to the market was an opportunity for us to really learn about ourselves as an organization, the impact and the innovation we made in the industry as Caseware for decades, and then who is Caseware now in the new kind of new landscape. We really, how did we make sure that one Caseware resonated? So this is actually one of those moments that we had a bit of a lesson learned. It was very important for us that we had a one Caseware kind of internal marketing campaign, if you will. Part of that was intentional because we went through such a change with our branding externally. So it was really important that we had an understanding of what is Caseware now in this new chapter for us. So that was critically important. And then also through the number of acquisitions, it was important that we were really clear on who we are as an organization, because we were welcoming so many team members into our kind of new organization, really. But from a lesson learned perspective, we have employee engagement surveys, and we do that continuously to make sure that we have that pulse check of the organization. And it was through this feedback directly from our team members, kind of were saying, like, I hear one Caseware, I'm actually super resonate with the strategy. We got top marks for that. But the areas of opportunity were the recognition, right? And understanding of us from a regional perspective. And it was this great aha moment of many voices, one team, which is one of our values. And are we doing enough to actually recognize the many voices we have to then come together as one Caseware? So this last year, we've been having a greater emphasis on specifically highlighting team members from all over the world, whether it's a regional holiday that may be not known globally, to what is a team specifically doing in a local market, and the way that we've collaborated together to address that kind of market need from a customer perspective. And there's lots of examples I can go through, but it was taking that kind of regional focus ultimately to serve kind of the one Caseware. And I think that, well, we're going to have the next engagement survey coming up. But I think, through the engagement we've had and the number of people kind of raising their hand to also highlight and share examples of kind of one Caseware from a regional level, it's been really exciting to see. And it's been cool to see the feedback in action, if you will, and embracing one Caseware in a way that really demonstrates our value of many voices, one team. So it was a great opportunity and lesson learned for us. We have focused on recognition and had an intentional focus on kind of creating recognition in a very inclusive way, and emphasizing the many forms that recognition can take, knowing that our team members might have different appreciation for different types of recognition. And I think that's really critical for any kind of recognition program. We know that recognizing employees and their hard work is one of the most powerful and cost-effective methods for not only attracting talent, but that retention as well from an organization perspective. So we focus on, it could be as straightforward, right, as shout outs to team members. We can use our technology, our Slack platforms, our emails, things like that. Absolutely encourage that from the kind of the more point in time recognition. But we also have other recognition programs, such as we do like a most valuable team member program here. That's peer nominated, very intentionally peer nominated. Of course, there's a little bit of a vetting process. Any HR program, right, has one. But it's truly focused on team members recognizing team members. And that goes into kind of at the end of the year, a big recognition award. So it's one of our biggest recognitions. We also have then a peer nominated team award as well. If you see a team collectively working together, that has really resonated with our team members. When we go through our performance management or kind of our year-end annual review process, it's equal weight put on both what was achieved and how it was achieved. And for us, that's where those values come to life. So knowing the great work that team members put out, it's also how it was. How are you collaborating with your team members? How are you communicating? Is it effective? Is it aligned with the values and the core behaviors that we expect as part of the organization? And the opportunity to share that feedback directly with the team member. And this is because this is where the recognition really takes form, and the accountability to the team members. So it's important. It's important also just for the team members that are demonstrating the values, that those team members that aren't quite there yet, or maybe need a little bit more support to really truly meet the full expectations of performance, but also the cultural aspects, that those team members, you see that progress over time and you see that feedback taking place. And that's an important part of that kind of recognition and retention as well. It's a great question on how we really reinforce that culture, especially through all of the acquisitions and being so geographically diverse. So we use tools in the sense of creating buddy systems, very intentionally creating buddy systems cross divisions or cross country to make sure that team members really feel the sense of being a global organization. We host both global and virtual events and really emphasize the participation from team members all over the world. Things like walking challenges or walking challenges was a big one, where we had team members join each other's walking challenges, where somebody's walking up a mountain, in one country and then down the city street of another on the same team. And it's been really cool to see that. And just emphasize that global nature and the fact that our world's much smaller because of the technology and tools that we can bring together. Virtual coffee chats, although you can bring tea or any beverage of your choice. It doesn't have to be coffee, but we have a strong leading preference towards it. And it's part of kind of an onboarding experience, very intentionally bringing team members together in a kind of coffee chat. So lower that barrier of having to reach out across the organization to connect. So kind of bringing that together, lowering that barrier and just setting, hey, here's a little coffee date, go get to know your colleague. And it's been really helpful to learn about each other in a kind of more of a social way, but then also share kind of what do you do here at Caseware, and really give people the opportunity to kind of praise the work that they're doing to contribute to the success of the company. So it ticks a lot of the boxes for us, and we love them. Yeah, I love a top 3 list. So I'm happy to share some tips. I think for me, the number one, especially if you're going through a lot of acquisitions, I mentioned it before, but communication. But not only communication, if you think about the importance that leaders play in terms of any company culture, but especially kind of that welcoming nature of an integration experience, is that focus on that feedback and coaching culture. So if a team is looking, if you're welcoming new team members through an integration, really underscoring giving and receiving feedback really well, and creating kind of that open environment to share feedback. I think that's really important. And I think it sets off that relationship on the right foot when you're joining the organization. I know we mentioned also about kind of how do we kind of highlight the uniqueness of different cultures. And so what we have done is then embrace kind of the unique voices that we have around the organization. So I'd say the second tip is learning our people and highlighting the fantastic uniqueness of the team members across their different regions. And that's something that we've been working on, and we're going to continue to work on year after year, of just highlighting the cool, unique aspects of our team members across the organization and share it, whether that's in a newsletter, whether that's in Slack, whether that's in any kind of recognition platform that you have. Then, hey, you might have a connection with somebody in a different country that maybe you've never been to, and that's really fun. That's community building, kind of more organically. And then speaking of kind of recognition, the last I think is recognition. That's really, really important, and having a variety of recognition tools to also meet people where they are. So we're working really hard. We're a technology company. We're moving really fast. And so the ability to recognize those team members and the achievement of their outcomes, or people demonstrating our values and demonstrating our culture, and the opportunities to really recognize that goes tenfold, not only for the team member that's getting that recognition, but for the culture across the organization, driving that accountability and that acknowledgement of the hard work. So those are kind of the top 3 that I would say.